it's just buffering and doing all that magic stuff, and then I will set up your meeting for YouTube live. Yeah, it's good. Okay, done. Right, so I'll come back.
Excellent.
To the Zoom.
So
now we are live.
Before I forget it, I just wanted to make the point for anybody who is sort of, following along with this at any stage now or in the future, that although we've just gone live now, when we started this call, for the first time, we started it in Welsh.
We did. I said hello, really, and you said, how do you feel, or something like that. I think. So what did you say? Sit.
Yeah, I said sit my Mr. Cassidy. So can you figure that out?
So how are you, Mr. Cassidy? Yeah. And I said something like, I'm feeling very happy.
Yeah. So what I said was, how is Mr. Cassidy? So you can use that structure. Sit my Mr. Cassidy, sit my de friend, sit my de bam, sit my de vrow.
My friend, sit my de brow. Sit. Yeah, because my is kind of is in lots of contexts, isn't it? It is my Genny friend is what is gen e then sort of
there is a friend there's a friend with me yeah and that leads on to another thing I didn't want us to forget before the recording, which is what you were saying about, now I can't remember which word you asked for, but it was about what a particular word means.
Why it was Pam.
Yeah,
it's like, because I know it from Pam or here, which is how long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
we got two things happening there. There's a short answer, which is Pam and pa are two different words.
Okay.
So pa you'll usually hear translated as which. But then if you look at that in that context, Pam mor here, which very long, which much of longness, again, that does not fit to an English map.
Right.
So okay. We got onto the conversation there about how words in different languages don't fit. So the way in which you say quite simple stuff in English may be utterly different to how we say it in Welsh.
Well, I know this from Chinese, of course, because of course when they want to know amounts, they'll say, for how much is it? They will say many or little dollars, or they'll say many or little. So they say do, which is a lot of or many, and xiao, which is a little, and then the thing that they're counting. So do xiao qian is many little money, which means how much is it in money?
Yeah.
And they say lots of those sorts of things, like for how many of things, they'll say many little, and then the item of things. So that is a different construction. It's actually quite efficient, because then you're just always, instead of how much, they're saying many little. There's lots of really neat things like that you understand that they convey the same meaning, but they don't map literally on, and it's kind of fun.
And you'll have had this experience with your Spanish, but what happens, and it can happen much, much earlier than the people tend to expect, is that initially, as an English speaker, you're thinking, well, I want to say, how much is this? And now the Chinese for that is actually many little dollars. So now I say many little dollars. But then really quite quickly, you stop going through that initial process of your own language, particularly if you're really focusing on production. You just, I have a concept here. I'm feeling thing, so I have to say that thing to find out how much it is, and it's this thing which is pre-built for me in Mandarin. You think in slightly
bigger chunks, basically, don't you? Rather than the minimum viable unit of meaning then increases to contain the idea of expressing the quantity as a question. I wonder how much that is, or how many there are.
And I suspect, neurologically speaking, and this might be part of the reason why there's so much almost unexpected value in the act of forced production at a very early stage, from day one, that you have time when you're just trying to say the things you can say. And I suspect that what may be happening at a neurological level is that we have some kind of a difference in how we store and process concepts, and how we store and process words. So Wolf and all that would say the word is the concept, that we can only think in the language that we have. I suspect that a desire for something comes prior to the words that we use to express it. And probably, you know, in evolutionary terms, you know, we must have wanted apples before we had language.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So I think there must be some kind of, we have concept
mapping, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's when we start to produce in a new language, we go concept, goes to word in new language, goes to speech act. And then over time, we start to get concept, goes to word in new language, goes to speech act.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which is why Elon Musk thinks we won't need language eventually, because he'll just put implants in our brains and we'll go from concept in my brain to concept in your brain, boom. And whilst I think that's incredibly scary and exciting, I think that's going to miss all the richness of the journey in going from my concept and what my culture has done to turn that concept into a communicable mechanism of some sort, and all the richness that comes around, and then compare that with what your culture has done to turn that into communicable sort of system. So going from one concept directly to the other concept, I mean, if all you're trying to do is communicate, then fine. But if you're trying to understand people and understand how they come to think and how certain things are more important to them, etc. I mean, one of the things that fascinates me is obviously knowing a lot about the Chinese way. One of the reasons that stereotypically Chinese are very good at maths is because their language is built for maths, because they don't have any concepts that are really unusual, like sort of 11 or things like, even something like 17 is okay, but in Chinese 17 is literally 10-7. And then 47 is 4-10-7. So there isn't a change in word even. There isn't the 4 going to T and then all that confusion. And it's nothing like the bonkers French nonsense of, 98 is 4 20s and then a 10 and then an 8. I mean, jeepers Christ.
Yeah. And we've got a modern version of Welsh, which is very much like what you've described for Chinese.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and that's what would be used in schools now. Interesting.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah. That's much. So, I mean, it just sets you up for mathematics. So go on.
47 in Welsh is pedwar saith, which is 4-10.
4-10. Pedwar is 4. I don't know any numbers, by the way. Yeah. I only know one day.
Yeah.
Werner or whatever. Friday.
Yeah. We will get to stuff later on.
Winner. Something like that. Okay. Anything else before we crack on?
With the Elon Musk thing. Which, as you say, kind of scary, frightening, interesting, but also I suspect has some really interesting fundamental and inevitable limits to it that will stop anybody from ever wanting to operate exactly like that, because it takes away the whole process of symbolizing. And symbolizing is really how we've developed beyond the mind capacity for knowledge. So if you think about the process, or think about the process of words in the first instance, but then you also think about the process of jargon. So we use words to describe a collection of words, and then we use words to describe a collection of words which are already describing a collection of words, and this is what gets us to higher and higher and higher levels of abstract thought.
The abstraction, exactly.
And that's probably what gets us into humanity and consciousness and all that kind of stuff. So certainly it gets where
you're completely right.
Now.
It's going to be difficult to without the word, which you see, one of the things that's nice about words is over time you get to crystallize a concept which is quite difficult to pin down without the word. Like if you said epistemology, how are you going to explain that concept without the word epistemology? It's sort of how we come to really know whether or not we know things or not, and it's like, okay, the system, the basis on which we can work out to what extent something is true or not, the epistemics of stuff, that's quite difficult concept. The concept exists there, but it's quite difficult for me to communicate that to you without some sort of mechanism, right?
And centrally, it's a really, really, really heavy load on your working memory.
Yeah.
So one of the things that happens pretty clearly,
words, shortcuts.
As we build these more significant, these more sort of symbologically dense words, we can then actually deal with a higher level of conceptual play. So if you have to explain a word to me in sort of granular detail, then we slow everything right down. We overload the working memory. We simply can't move very quickly. But if we have a whole bunch of words, if we have just a dozen words, each of which has got that kind of semantic richness to it, then the extent to which we're playing with those ideas is dramatically changed. So probably I'd be willing to take a small side wager that what Musk's Neuralinks might do for us that actually will be the really interesting thing will be to allow us to communicate person to chimpanzee and things like that, but that we will all find that person to person communication is richer when we have words happening as well.
Well, I think there's going to be a few years before even the technological issues make the alternative viable anyway. And so I don't think we're
sticking a fiver on that now. So when Elon announces the first human to chimpanzee conversation, I want you to buy me a pint.
Yeah, okay. I'll definitely do that.
Yeah,
I'll definitely do that. Well, for sure, that's not going to be that long. I mean, I just think that it's going to be, before it's a viable alternative, something that we are going to consider. Actually, I could either speak to this person or I could just go directly through implants, concept to concept. I think it's going to be a little while before that becomes custom and practice, shall we say.
So now we're kind of doing Tom and Aaron talk bollocks.
Yeah, we are. We should probably crack on with
Dwi angen, ni angen gwneud Tom ac Aaron yn siarad Cymraeg.
Yn siarad Cymraeg. Do. Okay. Dwi'n mynd i siarad yn y Gymraeg rwan efo chdi.
Dwi'n hapus bod ti'n mynd i siarad Cymraeg efo fi.
Dwi'n hapus iawn achos hapos dwi'n teimlo yn dda iawn.
Gwych. Good faith.
Bo fi dwi 'di gwneud
Bo fi wedi gwneud.
Bo fi wedi dysgu llawer yn barod.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Wow.
Llawer yn barod. Heddiw dwi wedi dysgu llawer yn barod. Heddiw.
Wow.
Hello.
Cwtch bach.
Dwi'n meddwl bo fi wedi gwneud o'n dda iawn.
Dwi'n hapus bod ti'n meddwl bod ti wedi gwneud yn dda iawn.
Sut i deud okay yn y Gymraeg? Iawn. Mae gen i fwy. Nes i gyfarfod da chwaer yn y dafarn.
Yn y dafarn?
Yn y dafarn neithiwr. Ond ti'n dim da chwaer.
Ti ddim wedi dysgu.
Ti ddim.
ti ddim wedi dysgu sut i ddeud hyn. Does gen ti ddim chwaer.
Does gen ti ddim chwaer.
Yeah, does gen i ddim chwaer.
Does gen ti ddim chwaer.
Oedd hi yn dweud celwydd wrtho ti.
Celwydd wrtho ti?
Yeah. Oedd y ddynes ifanc yn dweud celwydd wrtho ti. Celwydd ydy ei lai.
Celwydd ydy ei lai. Ddynes ifanc?
Yeah, y ddynes ifanc, dim fy chwaer oedd hi.
Mae gen i fwy.
Da iawn.
Theo.
Hiya, Theo.
Theo, mae o isio siarad yn y Loegeg?
Yn y Saesneg? Yn y Saesneg.
Yn y Saesneg efo fi.
Dwi'n
efo fi, ond o'n i isio siarad yn y Cymraeg.
Yeah, sorry.
Efo ti. Eto.
Felly ti isio dweud, dim Theo mae o isio, ond mae Theo isio.
Mae Theo isio.
Yeah.
Mae Theo isio siarad yn y Saesneg.
Yeah.
Efo fi.
Oh, da iawn. Sorry, Theo.
Theo, mae Theo, mae Theo ddim gwybod sut i siarad Cymraeg.
Yeah. Bechod. Bechod is a sin, but we say bechod to say, what pity. Bechod.
Bechod.
Yeah.
Bechod.
Bechod i Theo.
Bechod. Dwi'n meddwl bod o.
Yeah, dwi'n meddwl bod o.
Dwi'n meddwl bod o bod o angen dysgu sut i siarad yn y Cymraeg.
Yeah.
Achos dwi'n meddwl bod fo fwynhau. Fwynhau.
Ti'n meddwl bydda fo'n mwynhau.
Bydda fo'n. Dwi'n meddwl bydda fo'n licio dysgu siarad Cymraeg.
Waw, gwych.
Licio.
Tom, dwi eisiau gwybod, pa mor hir wyt ti wedi bod yn dysgu Cymraeg?
Dwi wedi bod dysgu Cymraeg am tua wythnos.
Am tua wythnos, neu am 9 diwrnod.
Am 9 diwrnod. Am 9 diwrnod.
Wyt ti a fi yn siarad Cymraeg nawr, rwan?
Rwan. Mae gen i fwy a ddysgu. Mae gen i fwy Ymarfer.
Yep.
Ond dwi'n meddwl bo fi dwi'n meddwl bo fi dy dysgu, no, di gwneud ond dda iawn.
O, dwi'n cytuno. Wyt ti'n gwybod cytuno? Cytuno ydy to agree.
Dwi ddim gwybod cytuno.
Ie, wel, ti wedi bod yn dysgu am 9 diwrnod, felly mae'n oce bod ti ddim yn gwybod cytuno.
Okay. Dwi'n meddwl bo hi fo chwaer gynod sut i siarad okay yn y Gymraeg.
Ie, mae'n oce dweud oce. Mae'n iawn dweud oce.
Dweud oce. Fo chwaer...
Mae fy chwaer.
Mae fy chwaer siarad Sbaeneg a siarad Italieg.
Eidaleg.
Mae hi gweithio'r yn dda iawn.
Gwych. Da ni'n siarad Cymraeg. Da ni'n siarad am bethau diddorol.
Da ni'n siarad Cymraeg. Dwi'n mwynhau siarad Cymraeg achos mae siarad Cymraeg yn ddiddorol.
Wow. Dwi'n synnu. Wyt ti'n gwybod synnu?
Synnu.
Yeah.
Dwi'n synnu at faint dwi dy dysgu yn barod.
A dwi'n synnu at faint ti di dysgu yn barod.
Okay.
Gwych. Sut wyt ti'n teimlo? Mae rhaid bod ti'n teimlo yn dda iawn.
Rhaid i mi. Dwi'n teimlo hapus iawn.
Gwych.
Hapus iawn. Dwi'n teimlo bo fi mynd i ymarfer tipyn bach.
Mwy na tipyn bach.
Mwy na tipyn bach.
Beth wyt ti eisiau gwneud rwan?
Beth dwi i mi gwneud rwan? Rwan, dwi trio'r siarad Cymraeg efo ti.
Da iawn.
Dwi angen ymarfer mwy. Dwi'n rhaid i mi ymarfer mwy.
Da iawn, ie. Rhaid i mi ymarfer.
Rhaid i mi ymarfer mwy.
Dwi'n clywed y deryn. Dwi'n clywed y deryn.
Deryn.
Ie.
Deryn.
Pam ydw i'n clywed deryn? Lle mae'r deryn?
Chlemarden, dwi'n idi anarth.
Dwi'n eistedd. Dwi'n eistedd.
Dwi'n eistedd anarth.
Yn yr ardd.
Yn yr ardd.
Ti'n eistedd yn yr ardd ac mae aderyn yn yr ardd.
Dwi'n ddim eistedd yn y dafarn.
Na, ti ddim. Mae'n ddrwg gen i.
Mae'n ddrwg gen i.
Ti'n deall jocs yn y Gymraeg.
Beth ti'n mynd i gwneud ar y pen wythnos?
Ar pen wythnos? Beth ydw i'n mynd i wneud ar y pen wythnos? Dwi ddim yn siŵr. Mae Angharad yn gwneud ballet ar y pen wythnos. Dwi eisiau cysgu. Dwi eisiau cysgu.
Cysgu lot.
Dwi wedi blino a dwi eisiau cysgu.
Pam ti angen cysgu lot?
Wow, bloody hell, ti'n siarad Cymraeg, Tom? Wow. Dwi angen cysgu lot achos dwi wedi gweithio lot yr wythnos hon.
Yr wythnos hon. Okay. Mae gen i fwy. Dwi'n ddim eisiau stopio, ond fedra i ddim cofio sut i deud unrhyw beth arall.
Dwi ddim yn dy gredu di. Credu ydy to believe. Dwi ddim yn dy gredu di.
Ti'n ddim yn credu fi?
Yn union, dim o gwbl. Dwi'n meddwl bod ti'n medru cofio lot o eiriau.
Lot o eiriau.
Felly, os ti ddim eisiau stopio, does dim angen stopio.
Does dim angen stopio. Mae gen i fwy. Sut i deud understand? Darst?
Dallt, gwych.
Darst. Dwi dar bod ti diddysgu.
Dwi'n dall beth ddydysgu.
Beth diddysgu. Da iawn, beth diddysgu.
Fantastic. Mae hynny'n dda iawn. Dwi'n hapus iawn.
Mae hynny'n dda iawn.
Bod ti wedi dall beth ddydysgu.
Dwi'n meddwl bod fi medru ymarfer.
Dwi'n meddwl bod fi yn medru ymarfer, neu dwi'n meddwl bod fi wedi ymarfer. Ti wedi ymarfer yn dda iawn.
Dwi wedi ymarfer yn dda iawn. Okay.
Tom, wyt ti'n teimlo fel rhywun sydd yn siarad Cymraeg?
Hang on. Medru deud o eto bach yn afarach.
Bach yn yr afach, da iawn.
Yn yr afach, bach
Da
yn yr
iawn.
afach.
Ie. Ti isio fedru di ddeud o eto bach yn yr afach.
Fedra di feid o eto, a fedra I feid o eto, a bach yn yr afach.
Perffaith. Ti angen fedru di. Fedra I ydi fi.
Ah!
Fedra
Fedra di.
Ie, na ni. Da iawn.
Fedri di deud o eto bach yn arafach.
Na, achos
Na.
dwi wedi anghofio beth o'n I isio dweud.
Okay.
Wych, ffantastig.
Wych.
Dwi ddim yn cofio. Dwi go iawn, dwi ddim yn cofio. Beth o'n I isio dweud? Beth oedd o? Damia.
Beth ti'n... Fyd o rhywbeth mae'n ddiddorol. Rhywbeth ddiddorol.
Rhywbeth diddorol. Ie, beth oedd o? Mae fy nghi wedi cyrraedd. Mae gen I... mae Ceiri wedi cyrraedd. Sydd yn meddwl, efallai bod Catrin wedi cyrraedd. Neu wedi mynd I ffwrdd. Mae Tom yn deud helo. Da ni'n ymarfer Cymraeg ar livecast ar y funud. Mae Catrin yn deud helo, da iawn.
Da iawn.
Dydy Catrin ddim isio gwneud livecast. Diolch yn fawr.
Okay.
Ie, byddai lawr munud. Ie, mae hyn, waw, Tom, mae hyn yn teimlo I mi fel sgwrs Cymraeg da iawn. Sgwrs ydy, like, a chat.
Sgwrs.
Yeah.
A chat, sgwrs Cymraeg da iawn, yeah.
Da ni
tipyn bach.
Mwy na tipyn bach. Yeah.
Mwy na tipyn bach.
Dwi'n gofyn, ti'n dallt, ti'n ateb. Wyt ti'n gwybod ateb? Wyt ti'n dallt ateb?
Ateb, ddim gwybod.
Okay, felly dwi'n gofyn cwestiwn. Yeah. A ti yn ateb. Yeah, na ni, da iawn.
Ateb, gofyn, dwi'n isio gofyn wrth o ti, gofyn rhywbeth wrth o ti.
Ie, dwi eisiau gofyn rhywbeth I ti. Mae'n, ffantastig. Wow. Beth wyt ti eisiau gofyn I mi?
Wyt ti, bydda fo licio mynd I at y dafarn.
Bydda ti, ie?
Bydda ti.
Bydda ti'n licio mynd i'r dafarn? Byddwn, ie. Dwi eisiau mynd i'r dafarn rwan efo chdi I siarad Cymraeg.
I siarad Cymraeg. Da iawn.
Mae siarad Cymraeg mewn tafarn yn dda iawn.
Mae siarad Cymraeg, talking Welsh, mewn tafarn, in a pub with you. Yeah, efo. Right now. And nine. Wow. It's not bad, right? We did okay.
So I'm taking that as you sort of saying I'm topping out at 22 minutes, which I'll give you. I think we can we for half hour there.
We could have gone for half an hour, but I'm conscious of your time and the kids and the school run and 4 o'clock and everything.
I think we're up to day 10 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
just do half an hour tomorrow.
Yeah, we're a third of the way through your challenge. And we are definitely up to needing to be at half an hour. And what happened already today is in that extended time, you're pulled out of some of the pre-existing patterns and you're starting to think more and more about what is the information I can exchange here. And we have a number of genuine information exchanges there, which is just for day 9, my God.
2 hours a day. It's basically 18 challenges, really, and the forced production that's doing it. I'm so happy with the system. I mean, obviously, I'm pleased with myself for sticking to it and for coming up with the idea and having a crack. But maybe Welsh is quite easy. Maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it isn't that.
Piece of cake. Obvious starter language for anybody, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should teach everybody through the medium of Welsh. Welsh first. Welsh first. The thing that I think is interesting about it is that already I just want to do more, and I know that we committed to only. This is like frustrating because I want to be I know now if I went through and did another 20 challenges in the next couple of days, I'd be bosh. It'd be like, well, we'd be doing it.
But also, the patience is giving you a lot of extra consolidation. So the time between sessions, this is not a bad thing.
No.
What I think we'll see when we start doing tests of what is achievable in 10 intensive days and so on, I think what we'll see is that we get very, very, very fast acquisition, but then there is still a curve post acquisition to get into real speed of usage. Whereas you're doing both at the same time here. So I think it's kind of interesting. I think we might sort of end up seeing, when we have enough kind of data and enough evidence on this, we might end up seeing that somebody who does 30 days in a row of 2 hours a day is after 30 days at a very similar point to somebody who does, that's 60. So somebody who does 6 hours a day for 10 days, what we might see is that somebody who does 2 hours a day for 30 days at the end of 30 days is at a higher point than somebody who does 6 hour days for 10 days, but that the person who does 6 hours a day for 10 days will have caught up in another 20 days or so if they keep on using it.
Regularly. If they keep using it, I think. I think the idea of doing 6 hours a day for 10 days, at least we'd probably want to do more, wouldn't we? We'd probably, if it's going to be expensive, we'd do 10 hours a day for 10 days. But then I think you could go straight to basically operating in that language, and then you're using it all the time.
Yes.
And then you're good. And then it's sort of. I was thinking that 12 languages in 12 months it's not. We're going to look back and think that wasn't even very ambitious.
Why don't we go for a tougher target next time round?
I know. And I think 2024 is the year that's sort of shaping up symmetrically. We might not want to wait that long, but I was thinking actually, the beautiful thing would be to travel to all these different countries and do it, and then just do that whole thing. But even if we couldn't travel for all of it, we could still as long as we have the languages in our system. I mean, how much in the Wales have I been over the first 9 days? Zero. Exactly. So I've just had the system. And okay, so you're not getting a chance to actually practice it as much. But amazing.
You'll pitch up on current rates of progress. The next time you arrive in Wales, you're going to be coming with conversations ready.
Yeah. I'm quite excited about that because I kind of want to go and get to the next Say Something in meeting. Go, oh yeah, I speak Welsh now.
Yeah. Done that. And one of the fascinating things for me now is that today's production, the conversation we have had today, if we'd had that at the end of a 30-day challenge, there is nobody who would be saying, well, that 30-day challenge was a bit disappointing. People would be saying, wow, that's a huge achievement in 30 days. On day 9, we are into, I would have been happy with this for the whole experiment. So that's
interesting, isn't it? Because I think we're now getting to the, as you call them, tipping points. I can just feel that with a few more, I mean, there's always going to be that, but a few more, I'm probably okay now, just practice from now on. But at the rate of, I think I could probably go not English now. I think I could probably, if I was with you, I think I'd probably go to not English for a week.
If we went into an immersion setting now, you'd be absolutely fine. You'd have occasional little bit, needs for mime and stuff like that, but you'd be fine. And if you were carrying on doing learning as well,
is it not that because there's been so many basic structures in there already, there's going to be a bunch of things that are a bit unusual with the grammar that you'll pick up through context and all those things, but everything else is just that vocab, isn't it, after that? Really?
We've covered a hell of a lot of, if you sort of think, if you think of your kind of your 80%
daily conversations. Yeah.
core, we have probably covered at least 80% of your 80%.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ti'n siarad Cymraeg.
Okay. Yeah.
Cymraeg. And you had a couple of laughs in there too. You processed funny things.
I got some jokes that you made. Yeah.
That's high order. That should be much later in the journey.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm really very pleased. I mean, it's great. Again, it's like we're doing this. Obviously, the benefit is I end up speaking Welsh, which is kind of fun. But sort of the real thing is that we're testing the system, and we're just putting the system through its paces in a way that you can't anymore with Welsh, because of course you speak the Welsh now, and I couldn't with the Spanish, or as I say, even with the Chinese, because I already speak too much of it to be a pure test. But I think if someone follows this and follows the 30 days, they're going to be going, "What the hell, man?
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, the only other thing they'll think is, well, there's no way I was only doing 2 hours a day or 2 challenges a day."
Yeah.
But, I mean,
4 kids.
It's true. 4 kids, family, running businesses, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, it's exciting.
What will happen somewhere down the line, we'll get a daily results video like this for a completely new language where we do it together, and we're doing 10 hours a day, and then people will be able to compare the two, and then they'll say, oh yeah, that one really was just the 2 hours.
Yeah, because actually what we really want to do in terms of the learning out loud is almost to stick a GoPro on your head kind of thing and just broadcast the whole thing and just have the whole,
And that's particularly fascinating, because also another thing we want to do is stick a GoPro or stick some kind of, sound capture device on people's heads for entire days or entire week of their life in their first language, for us to start to get a data set of where we can drill down to what the biggest communication benefits are. So at the moment, we've got a kind of art and science combination of deciding what our seed sentences are. If we go out and use data sets in the right environments, because you've got these huge corpora, and there's a Welsh national corpus as well now. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but what they don't, and they tend to have a division between where the language has been collected from, but it tends to be quite blunt. So it'll be written or spoken. And what we really need is stuff which is spoken in this particular situation or this particular situation, which then might also help. If we might find out that if somebody works in a shop, that they need a different subset for their initial action. We might find out they need the same subset, and that it's actually just a slight change of vocabulary. But that kind of data collection is going to be so much fun when we get there. I want us to have let's have a version, a language collecting version of the Google car.
Yeah.
And maybe it can be the Google car.
Well, but I would have thought, surely it's just a question. I mean, that information is available. It's just a question of sort of like going, how would you do it? I suppose we'd want to collect our own version of it, wouldn't we? Because everything else is somewhat staged.
It's
because
really, so much staging. You can go out and get huge amounts of spoken language, but it's from podcasts, interviews, somebody going about their daily life. Not so much that stuff out there.
You're right. That'd be fascinating. Okay, dude. Well, I know you've got to clean Harrod's glasses.
I do. My final remaining job as a parent.
Normally when she comes home. Yeah, exactly. But this is fascinating. This is great stuff, and it's as I told you, didn't I? I sent you a message. I had my first dream in Welsh last night.
Yeah.
So what I think the brain is doing, the brain is making up stuff that it can't understand, but it won't be real Welsh. It'll just be.
No, I expect it would be. I expect it will be real Welsh, and I expect what's happening there is a kind of semi-conscious interface with the consolidation work that's going on. So that's basically your brain practicing, I would suggest. So wow.
Well, it's true. I don't know how far you got through the Stanislas Dehaene book, but he talks about how mice and rats at night, they follow the same brain patterns that they trigger when they go through the mazes. So they are consolidating, and what you can do is by triggering in their brain patterns the location of where would their location they would be in their brains. You can give them a dopamine hit when they reach that point in their brain network. Then they will go to look physically the next day in that location for the food. So it shows you that the brain is practicing and consolidating and sort of going over and over again through the neural pathways.
And as we get wearables into becoming better at triggering lucid dreaming, then we can say, you're in a dream right now. This is when you should be practicing your Welsh. Go to Welsh those people. So we say, you do your 30 days. That's the end of it. From now on, just dream practice.
It's ridiculous. Exciting, man. Okay, dude. Well, listen, another great day. That's 9 days. 9 days in the can.
Llongyfarchiadau. Llongyfarchiadau mawr. Llongyfarchiadau is a Welsh word you need to get used to now, because llongyfarchiadau, which is quite hard to say, so you don't need to say it often, but you do need to understand it. Llongyfarchiadau is congratulations.
Llongyfarchiadau.
Not bad, not bad. Llongyfarchiadau.
Llongyfarchiadau. Llongyfarchiadau. Tell you what, the one that I did not get from today was the bloody one about a few friends. What the hell? Friendia or something.
Yeah, so apparently you've got 85% of it. So
well, I did get. I mean, I know that my brain can take a lot of it in and can sort of work it out, but I don't have the conscious way of, like, you know, when you get sunny at. I mean, that's a lot easier, isn't it? Because you can lock it down onto something. Or tame law, because I can think of it. I'm immediately thinking. As a representation, there were, I mean, it's feel, isn't it? Okay, tame law. Is it tame law, basically, right? Okay, so tame, I knew a girl at college called Emma Tame, and I had a little crush on her in my first year. This is a live broadcast. She's probably about 100 now. Looks like an old sock, but she was pretty when we were at college, and so tame loss. I mean, feeling. Oh yeah, it's feel good. Because all I need often when it's a completely new word is just to find one way of kind of remembering, sort of, because otherwise it's easy to get the syllables sort of messed up. And you know, when you explained bother vo to me, with like but and then the and then vo. Oh yeah, I can now. I'm thinking it just sounds like butter, and I just put bother vo, and I'm thinking butter. He would, and so I think that really helps.
And just to bore you slightly, what I'm going to say is that that's part of your emotional journey more really than it's part of your learning journey, that you can take a little sort of accelerative boost out of that, but your brain would have sorted it out without it in a little bit more time.
And you're right about that. And so I'm not worried too much about it.
But the emotional journey is important, and feeling, hey, I nailed that one. I had a clever thing. That's also good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing that is amazing about languages, I mean, languages are just not that hard for the brain because, I mean, there's already hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that can already speak Welsh. Right?
It's a real strong part. It's what makes us human. You know, language is our primary skill. So, of course, they're not hard. They just have to have the right input, and then Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, exactly. Bob's your uncle. How do you say Bob's your uncle in
definitely say Bob's your uncle.
All right, dude. And what's bye? I don't even know what bye is.
Well, we usually say ta-ra up here in the north. I'm very Liverpudlian, but you can also say hwyl if you want to. Or I say ta-ra all the time, so just say ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
Llongyfarchiadau.